Hello everyone, Rudy Briksza here, CoolStuffInc.com, and I'm going to go ahead and bring you something a little different. I know I wrote a little bit about Legacy in the past, and I wrote a little bit about taxes and why I think it's a good deck, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try something a little bit, and I think this is an important part of, kind of like getting in and learning and trying a bunch of new things. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to play a little bit of a blue splash. So I don't think it gives you too much, but there are some really cool cards. Lavinia, Azorius, Renegade, Deputy of Detention, and Meddling Mage are the three big and only blue cards in the deck. Now, Lavinia is kind of awesome. It's pretty good against Storm. Game one, it's kind of like another Thalia, just another card that's exceptionally difficult for them to beat. And the fact that it counters out, Lion's Eye Diamond and Lotus Petal is kind of awesome. Against Terminus, it means they can't Terminus you until turn 6. They have to, find a source of Plowshares for Lavinia. And if you ever have a Mother of Runes, your opponent's going to be in a lot of trouble. That's for sure. Deputy of Detention is this nice new answer to creatures. I'm not sure exactly how good these kind of cards are in the main deck, but I think they're powerful enough that I'm really interested in trying them. Now, one of the other flex slots I have here is a Remorseful Cleric in the main deck. For the most part, this is going to be a very basic, I'm trying to copy what the basic lists are doing and move from there, and then see how good this is, and we're going to reevaluate at the end of the league. I also have a Remorseful Cleric in here. There's always a bunch of graveyard decks. Remorseful Cleric is just this nice little card that is pretty good. Pretty good for the most part. So, I'm kind of interested in seeing how this main deck plays out. Sideboard, obviously not too much has changed. We have Council's Judgment, Palace Jailer, Ethersworn Canonist, Containment Priest, Chalice of the Void. We even have Karn for all the fair matchups too, and Meddling Mage to have an even better combo matchup. One of the downsides of this kind of deck is sometimes your control matchup is a little rough, but between Lavinia and Meddling Mage and Chalice, might have some things that are changing for it. So I'm going to get right into it, and I'll be right back in a little bit with round number 1. All right, Rudy Briksza here, CoolStuffInc.com. We got a nice little hand going on here. This is certainly one of the best. Our opponent is mulliganing to 6. We have a Vial, Stoneforge on 2, a Port, a Mother of Runes. This is a pretty stellar hand. I think the only thing that we might want instead of this Sword of Fire and Ice is a Thalia, to have this nice wide range. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with this hand. We are on the draw, which is obviously a little unfortunate. Of course, when you're playing Legacy, being on the play can definitely change some things here. But so we're gonna go ahead. Our opponent has mulligan to 5. They put a card on top. Mountain Go can mean a couple different decks here. For right now, I'm gonna just play it safe. There's nothing I really want to do here except to turn 1 Vial anyway. And depending on what our opponent does here, we might Port them or we might Stoneforge here, depending on what they do. City of Traders, Lotus Petal. Ooh. This is a sneak attack. Tundra, Torch of Defiance. Okay. That one's going to be pretty good. That one's going to be pretty good. So we only have a couple turns, but we do have Flickerwisp to kind of make sure that it gets beaten pretty easily. Let's go ahead and put a counter on our Vial here. Alright, and I think what I want to do here is I want to play my Stoneforge Mystic. And I want to get a Batterskull here because I want to induce my opponent's Chandra to minus on this, so I will be able to manage it easier. The other option is I can Port this mountain, try and keep my opponent off of mana as well. But I think right now, we're okay maybe porting our... I guess we're okay porting our opponent. I don't think we need to make any sudden movements. So we have Mother of Runes to kind of go to the end step, protect everything. Let's go ahead, port our opponent's mountain. We'll just keep them off casting things. Chalice isn't really something that we're worried about. Blood Moon's not really something that we're worried about. We're fine taking a bunch of damage off Chandra for now. Yeah, Chalice on 1 doesn't matter because we already have our Vial down. Let's go ahead and activate our Vial. Yeah, we want to use our ability. Let's put a Mother of Runes into play. Let's go ahead, bump this Aether Vial up to 2. Alright. Tundra here is unfortunate as a draw step, just because we really just want some threats. But Flickerwisp, Stoneforge Mystic might be able to carry us home. So for now, I think I'm just going to play land. I think I'm going to port our opponent's mountain again, and then Vial into Stoneforge Mystic during the end step, and then I could Flickerwisp out the Chandra for a minute. So we're pretty safe for now. No real reason to make any sudden movements. I guess maybe we could tap the city. That prevents them from casting anything big. Now, I'm not super familiar with Death and Taxes. I played it just a tiny bit. Well, let's go ahead and see what our opponent's going to do here, though. Legion War Boss. Okay. That one's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Our opponent kind of used their Chandra for other stuff. And since our opponent doesn't really have anything else to do, I'm just going to go ahead and put the Stoneforge in. Go ahead, get me a nice little Batterskull. Yep. Get me this Batterskull. I'm going to go ahead and block. Now our opponent doesn't really have too much else going on. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and put this Vial up to 3. Alright. Unfortunately, there's some bad things and there's some good things. Good thing is, I think I kind of might have to reveal that we're playing blue. So you have to play a land this turn. I want to be able to port plus activate Stoneforge Mystic, so I'm going to go ahead and play the Strand. I'm going to crack it just for planes, because I don't want our opponent to think too much of it. Maybe they think we're playing the red version. I don't really want to show them any blue just yet. Alright, so now what we're going to do is, on my opponent's upkeep, I'm going to phase out their Chandra Torch of Defiance so they don't get any use out of it. And then I have Stoneforge Mystic to put in a Batterskull, and I'm going to port off their mountain this time. That'll kind of lock them out of really casting any colored spells. But I guess I am a little worried about bridge, so I guess I am going to actually port the city. So I just don't want to get bridged out. Alright. Now our opponent cannot ultimate their Chandra and start getting some use out of that. We have a Batterskull, and our opponent is forced to attack with their Legion War Boss this turn. Then we have Sword of Fire and Ice the next turn to kill it and really end this game. So this game is pretty much over. We're just going to go ahead and play out a little bit just to ensure that everything ends. Legion War Boss. Powerful card. Not so good against Stoneforge Mystic. Yep, and that's going to go ahead and that's going to do it. Let's head on over to the sideboarding here. There's not really too much that I want here, if we're being honest. I think I want the Leonin Relic-Warders. I think I want these Council's Judgment. Maybe I want this Palace Jailer. I'm not 100% sure on that one. So the nice part about Palace Jailer here is it just gives us another way to kind of just draw a bunch of cards. And I do like drawing cards. That one's going to be a good one. Remorseful Cleric is not going to be very good here. That's for sure. Swords of Plowshares also not going to be great here either. Kind of a weak card overall, to be honest. I do want a couple because our opponent has shown us that they're gonna try to kill us with some amount of creatures. Just not sure exactly which ones they're planning on trying to kill us with. I don't think Jitte's going to be very good here either. So I think we're going to board out these 4 cards because they're kind of on the weaker end. And then we board into Leonin Relic-Warder. Great against Chalice if for some reason they leave that in. But it's very good against Ensnaring Bridge, which is exceptional in this matchup. And I like Council's Judgment. Obviously, that's a good answer to Planeswalkers and any other cards that might be difficult to deal with. So we're in a pretty good spot as well. You know, this matchup already feels a little bit favored. So I think we're just mostly going to stay the same and see how that is. Lavinia might actually be reasonably good here. Our opponent is, a low land count deck, and our Wastelands might be exceptional against them trying to cast expensive spells with the Lavinia in play. So we'll go ahead and try it with Lavinia here, and we'll revisit for the next game if there is a next game. Alright, well this hand is bad. This hand is just very bad. 6 land, Stoneforge Mystic, not very good. Pretty much no matchup I wanted. Well, this one is going to be okay. Pretty weak to Blood Moon, but I think that's okay. Alright, what is our opponent going to do? Double Simian Spirit Guide, Chrome Mox. This is wow. This is going to be a pretty nice turn. Turn 1, 4-drop. Chandra, you got it. Sulfur Elemental. That's one that I think our opponent would want to have in play. Alright. Now here comes the tough part. Can I beat this Chandra? Right now the answer is yes. I have this Phyrexian Revoker. Phyrexian Revoker is going to be pretty good. Just have to kind of dodge something else here. Something else pretty big. We'll see if we can do that. And if I draw another white source in the meantime, I have Council's Judgment. In a couple turns I'll be able to Deputy of Detention. Uh-oh. Trinisphere. That's an unfortunate one. Trinisphere is a good one here. Be pretty good against me casting any of my spells. So, it does mean we do have to wait till next turn, which is kind of unfortunate. And our opponent hasn't really locked themselves out of playing anything. So, we'll see if our Phyrexian Revoker will survive. Because we do have to Phyrexian Revoker this. Do not have a choice. And if I draw a white source, then I'll be able to actually Revoker plus Judgment or Revoker plus Deputy. So there are some options. Alright, this is a lot of mana for 4. What does our opponent have? Oh no! Our opponent had Fiery Confluence. Oh, that's devastating. Unfortunately, we were very lucky. We drew the white source. And now we get to get rid of this Chandra. We don't really care about Trinisphere anymore. Now we just have to dodge some... I guess even Blood Moon doesn't really do anything. So I think we're at a pretty good spot here. If we draw another land here, I actually get to... Oh no. 4 mana, Scab Clan Berserker. That's a good one. That is going to be a good one, that's for sure. Fortunately, I think I can Deputy it here pretty easily. But I do want to waste our opponent off of their City of Traders so they're not able to cast anything. I want to get a Plains just in case. Let's go ahead and let's Deputy the Scab Clan Berserker. Waste the cities to shut our opponent off from casting spells. Now our opponent has a lot of work to do. Opponent has a lot to catch up on. Looks like they drew a land. That's kind of nice. I'm going to go ahead and play a Thalia here. Thalia here kind of can lock out some spells from being cast. I think I could also Phyrexian Revoker this Chrome Mox too. That actually might have been pretty good too. Legion War Boss, that one I don't really care too much about. This Goblin is checked forever. Ooh, Swords of Plowshares is also a nice one as well. Let's go ahead and let's Revoker this turn on the Chrome Mox. And then next turn I can Swords to Plowshares this Legion War Boss. Stuff Karakas to protect our Thalia if we need. Alright, Ancient Tomb. That one's pretty bad. Pretty bad here. I'm going to go ahead and Wasteland that. Swords to Plowshares this Legion War Boss. And then start attacking for 5 a turn. And looks like we might be in a pretty good spot here. That is a nice one to draw, that's for sure. Alright. So now we can play Stoneforge Mystic next turn, and I think this is going to about wrap it up here. Let's go ahead, let's get a sword, just in case I draw another land here. I can put it in and equip, and that should end the game. Alright, that's nice. Alright, attack you for almost everything. Lots of Aether Vials here. I think maybe I should have boarded one out. At least boarded one out. I think that would have been a great idea. And our opponent is going to go out on a high note. They're going to kill themselves. So going over that, it looks like this matchup feels mostly kind of favored. Like our opponent had a pretty insane start, and it just didn't feel like it was anywhere close to good enough. So I feel pretty favored. I think I shouldn't have had this many Aether Vials in. I think I probably should have boarded some out, maybe kept in like another Swords of Plowshares or something. So I'm definitely going to have to revisit everything. But I'll be back for round 2 in just a little bit. Hello, everyone. Back here for match number 2. This is kind of an okay hand. Aether Vial, Wasteland, Swords of Plowshares, Stoneforge, Recruiter. It's fine. We have a lot of just fine hands. And that's the thing with Death and Taxes. A lot of what's going on is just kind of fine. Alright, a Delver of Secrets. That is a card that I like to see. I think that is a card that we can beat pretty easily. So I'm going to go ahead and we are going to go ahead and respect Daze here. I'm also going to respect Stifle as well. I'm just going to fetch for planes here. No reason to kind of do anything. I don't really think there's any reason to kind of jam our Swords of Plowshares or these Aether Vial right into a Daze. At least not yet. Let's see if our opponent reveals anything for us. They reveal a Daze. Nice. So I'm going to go ahead and Swords of Plowshares in their upkeep. That Daze being revealed, and force our opponent to have a second one. They do not. Or they decided it was not worth dazing. Alright, another island. Let's go ahead and play Wasteland here, and let's play Aether Vial. We'll just keep playing around Daze as much as we humanly can. Sword of Fire and Ice is going to be probably good against the Island Delver deck. That's for sure. Alright, Force of Will pitching Daze. Get rid of our Aether Vial. I accept. Not really too much else for us to do at the moment. Our opponent has their own Wasteland. Will they Wasteland our Wasteland? That's fine. Alright, but we have another Wasteland. Let's play a Stoneforge Mystic. We got rid of one of their Dazes. It looks like they do not have another one. Let's go ahead and get our Batterskull. Looks like our opponent is missing their other color, or maybe they're mono blue. Not 100% sure just yet. It looks like they are blue-red, though. They do have a bolt here for our Stoneforge Mystic. That's fine. You know, we are very good at Magic. Very, very good, for being honest. Let's go ahead and get this Jitte out. Let's go ahead and waste this Volcanic Island, force our opponent to draw another one if they want to be able to bolt this Stoneforge Mystic again. And if they do not have one, well, then we're just going to go ahead and put a Batterskull in play immediately. And Batterskull is going to be pretty tough in general for any Delver decks to beat. And it looks like our opponent did find a fetch land. They are going to go ahead and get a Volcanic Island. They only have 2 cards left. Alright, it looks like they only have 1 card left now. So we're in a pretty okay spot at the moment. Obviously, we're going to want to draw... some relevant land. We're going to want to draw some lands probably at some point. Maybe something to pair. We have a lot of equipment here, but not a lot of lands to go off of. Ooh, Wasteland here is going to be pretty devastating. So hopefully we draw a land here. We did not. Alright. We do have 23 lands in the deck. So we do have 18 lands left in the deck. So we're pretty high percentage to draw one at some point in time. Drawing the third Stoneforge Mystic's pretty bad. Remorseful Cleric at least trades with Delver, which is kind of nice. Land. Hiya! Damn it. Alright, well, there's no real reason for me to attack anymore. Obviously, my opponent flips, so I don't mind trading. Hopefully we draw a land. That would be kind of nice. Looks like our opponent either found another land or a creature. Again, do not mind trading here at all. If our opponent has light at the stage, you know, we don't want them to go ahead and get that free value off that. Alright, land is nice. So let's go ahead and put this Thalia into play. Thalia is going to be one of the more impactful creatures that we could put in. Hopefully we draw another land. Our opponent drew a Wasteland, but unfortunately we drew one of our Tundras and not one of our basics. It was unfortunate. Another land. Nice. And I'm going to go ahead and put this Stoneforge Mystic into play. We're not going to be able to find anything off it. Ooh, our opponent has a Force of Will. That's fine. Alright, so our opponent has nothing now. And if we draw a land, we're going to be in a fantastic position. As long as we keep drawing lands. Mother of Runes here is awesome. This is, of course, one of the downsides to playing, you know, a second color. You know, we drew 2 Tundras and a Flooded Strand, and that would have been 3 plains. You know, and it ended up only being 1 plains. We definitely would have had a lot of mana in play and been able to do pretty much everything that we wanted to. And if this Mother of Runes goes ahead and gets active, then our opponent is going to be in a lot of trouble. That is for sure. And as long as we keep drawing lands, we're going to be able to cast all the spells in our hand. Alright, what is this? Lightning Bolt my Mother of Runes. Okay, that's a good one. But it saw the opportunity, and they took it. Alright. Let's go ahead. Let's get another plains here. Let's go ahead and play Recruiter of the Guard. Our opponent can't really do anything here. What do I want to get here? I think I kind of want to get another Mother of Runes here. We kind of just want to lock our opponent out. Could also get the last Stoneforge Mystic, but I think we're starting to build up on lands enough to not have to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get a Mom here. Next turn I can go Mother of Runes plus Phyrexian Revoker. You know, leave our opponent with not a lot of outs to what's going on. Alright, Polluted Delta, probably not what our opponent wants here. Young Pyromancer, that's a good one. Alright. We do have a lot of good stuff going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and name Human off this. And I'm going to play Sword of Fire and Ice here. Well, my opponent can't interact with it at all. Leave Thalia back so my opponent can't get in a free block. Or free attack and light at the stage. Pretty sure our opponent is playing the blue-red light at the stage, yeah. And once they see Sword of Fire and Ice, they don't have an answer to this Thalia or the Sword of Fire and Ice. Things are not good anymore. So that was pretty nice. Pretty nice, easy win there. Our opponent didn't really do anything, which is exceptional. Obviously, if our opponent is doing things, that changes a lot of what's going on. But so our opponent didn't do anything. We're in a pretty good spot there. So this is kind of an interesting spot. Very few cards that I don't want. Yes, I don't want Lavinia. I do want this Council Judgment because our opponent has the card True Name Nemesis. That's a card that I don't like very much. Mirran Crusader also kind of bad. Council Judgment kind of good. So I think we can do that. That's pretty good. Anything else that I want? I don't think so. Path is kind of mediocre here. I don't really think we need Path. Don't really think we need Karn, Chalice, Mage, Surgical. None of these cards seem very interesting. Maybe I want a Palace Jailer, but I'm not like super excited about the thought of Palace Jailer. Deputy's kind of nice here though. Prelate's great. So I think for the most part I'm kind of happy with how everything is. Maybe I'm supposed to board out maybe I'm supposed to board out some number of Vial. Our opponent's probably boarding into Braids. But you know, I'm fine there being a lot of targets for a Braid. I'd rather stretch their Braids rather than make them good. So I think we're just going to do those 2 changes and we're going to see how things go for this game. Alright, this hand sucks. This hand sucks. So we're going to go ahead and mulligan. Even on the draw. I mean, I guess if any one of these... I guess if this Sword of Fire and Ice was a Plains, I think this hand would be great. But can't really rely on that. No, that hand's also bad. Alright, this hand's pretty okay. Mulligan to 5. Not really what we want to be doing here, but turn 1 Aether Vial and a Mother of Runes are both going to be pretty exceptional, and we have Swords of Plowshares. Just gotta hope we don't get Wastelanded. Ponder. Let's see what our opponent does with the Ponder. Ooh. Maybe I'll draw a Wasteland. If I draw a Wasteland, I'm going to waste them. They chose not to shuffle. I'm definitely going to waste them. All right. Didn't have that ability. All right. Let's go ahead. Karakas. Vial. All right, Vial went in. That's kind of good. Opponent does not have Daze. They don't have Force of Will. So we're a little free to do stuff with. All right, our opponent's not doing anything, so that's kind of weird. Just going to go ahead and put a counter. I don't mind playing this game slow. I don't really need to do anything here, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and I think I'm going to waste our opponent here. And the reason I'm going to waste the opponent here is because we don't have an answer. We don't have an answer to True Name Nemesis right now. Our opponent might just be kind of banking on True Name. Alright. If your opponent wants to brainstorm off this, that's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and pass here. We do have Flooded Strand, we do have Vial, so we're like kind of okay. I don't really want to cheat too much on mana. Our opponent showed us that they're a Wasteland deck as well. So I don't want to get too crazy. But I do kind of want to keep my opponent off True Name here. Since True Name here is pretty difficult for me to beat. I don't really have a good answer for it. And maybe our opponent accidentally, brainstormed into nothing. So that would kind of be nice. Let's go ahead and put this Mother of Runes in. I don't really care what happens here. Opponent can abrade our Vial. It's fine. They can bolt our Mother Runes. That's fine. None of it really matters too much. They can't Vendilion click out our Mother Runes. Is this a Stifle? Are they abrading the Vial? This seems... I don't know if I like abrading the Vial. Mother Runes is obviously pretty hard to beat. Sure. Oh, my opponent has multiple bird spells to beat this Mother Runes. Because this Mother Runes is going to be pretty good, to say the least. Ooh, Cavern of Souls is really nice. I'm going to hold that as much as possible. And then we'll play it on human next turn. Slam this Recruiter of the Guard. And we'll start locking our opponent out. Hopefully our opponent doesn't play True Name here. That'd be very sad. I would be very sad. I think I'm going to Recruiter, go get a Flickerwisp here. I think Flickerwisp is probably my best opportunity here. I still got a lot of work to do to kind of get back, into this game. Our opponent feels like... I feel like my opponent's hand is just a bunch of really reactive spells at the moment. So because my opponent's hand is so reactive, I just kind of want to play safe here. There's no real reason for us to make any sudden movements. Our opponent is not really doing anything. Let's go ahead and get a Plains here. Alright, let's make this uncounterable. I almost did not make it uncounterable. I almost clicked to not uncounterable. Yes, I want to use this ability. Let's get... Could get Palace Jailer here. I think I'm gonna get Palace Jailer here. I do have my 4th land. Palace Jailer will start drawing me a bunch of cards. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get Palace Jailer here. Hope our opponent doesn't have a True Name here. If our opponent has True Name here, Palace Jailer obviously an awful choice. If our opponent wants to bolt, try to bolt again, that's also fine. Is it Staticaster? Oh, that's a pretty good one. Is it Staticaster? Certainly not a card that was on my mind. That's for sure. So... that's a pretty good one here against Mother of Runes, specifically if I don't have a Swords to Plowshares, which I don't at the moment because I decided to, bring that shields down for Recruiter. Young Pyromancer. That's a good one. Am I going to get cleaned up here? I feel like I might be. I think this game might be going pretty bad for me now. If I would have respected Is It Staticaster a tiny bit more, I probably would be in an okay spot. Unfortunately, I did not. now I'm going to be in a little bit of trouble. Let's go ahead and port here. See if our opponent has any responses. I'm going to Swords to Plowshares this young Pyromancer. Port's kind of nice since I can force action on my opponent. If our opponent doesn't have a Force of Will for the Swords of Plowshares, Daze is fine. Daze is, you know, pretty beatable at this stage. Sure. So we know our opponent has a Volcanic Island, 2 other cards we don't know about. They're going to have 2 elementals and a Staticaster, all of which are pretty beatable. Oh, our opponent had double Daze. Oh, okay. Alright, well, I think we might be dead to that one. Alright, so our opponent had a bunch of Dazes. Daze is actually, like, mostly fine, secretly. I think a lot of people don't respect Daze enough post-board, so it's, like, definitely kind of nice there. If we were, you know, if we took that game a little bit slower, Daze would have been unplayable. So maybe that's definitely on us. It's definitely on me for not taking enough time to play around multiple Dazes. So now I kind of know for next time. We'll play around Daze a little more. I think I want a Path to Exile here. It's going to be pretty good against the Staticaster. Alright, we do want to play first. Alright, let's try this hand. This is kind of unfortunate. I feel like I've had more land-heavy hands with Delver. Definitely have not seen very many lands in 23 lands. Maybe I'm supposed to be playing 24 like Thomas and Voltson is. Maybe that's just what I'm supposed to be doing. Our opponent has Force of Will here. We're in a little bit of trouble. If we don't draw land, we're in a little bit of trouble. If they have a Pithy Needle, we're in a little bit of trouble. If they have Wasteland, we're in a little bit of trouble. There's a lot of things that could go wrong here, but a lot of things that can also go right. If our opponent just kind of like does nothing and we draw plains here, you know, we're going to be in a fantastic position. If we draw plains, probably can't lose. Our hand is pretty solid. As long as our opponent doesn't have Needle here. Delver. Plains. And if we miss here and our opponent has a Braid, we're probably dead. I guess we're going to name Core here. Or Artificer. Let's name Core. Alright, let's go ahead and get Batterskull. Unfortunately, we still need a white source. Still need a white source because we need to be able to actually activate our Stoneforge Mystic. I do not know why you're asking me to block. I cannot block. Delver. Well, that's a lot of Delver. That's a Grim Lavamancer. Alright, let me draw a white source here. Oh, that's unfortunate. Alright, we're pretty dead here. We're pretty dead. I don't really think there's too much I can do to get out of this, if we're being honest. So I'm going to go ahead and upkeep. I'm going to port my opponent's red source, but desperately needed to draw a white source there. Putting a Batterskull into play would have made my life easier because I could have put Batterskull, put Stoneforge, got Sword of Fire and Ice, and absolutely demolished my opponent. But unfortunately, that is not the way this game is going to play out, and we are very likely dead. Opponent not even trying to trying to cast Ponder here to flip double Delver, I guess, is a pretty bad sign for us. Alright, well, they have an Abrade. It's kind of unfortunate for me. The Wasteland here is pretty degenerate as well. Yeah, things are going real bad for me. Maybe I shouldn't have kept that team, but maybe I shouldn't have kept that hand. But with 22 lands in my deck and there being a bunch of white sources, I felt like it was kind of safe. But I guess maybe it was just bad. We do have a braid now, so that's pretty bad for me. All of these things are pretty bad. Especially because my vial's about to get braided. Yep. And I think I'm dead after that. Well, our opponent's hand was quite exceptional, and I guess I kept a bad hand and got punished for it, but I don't know if there's any hands that I could have beaten my opponent's deck with, to be honest. Plains? Alright, Plains. Alright, now that I have a Plains, I can't cast anything in my hand. Still need to draw another Plains here, unfortunately. But I can put Batterskull into play. I'm going to go down to 4 and then up to 8. So I need to draw another land to be able to put Sword of Fire and Ice into play. If I can't do that, then I'm definitely dead. Or if my opponent has Bolt here, I also die. It's unfortunate that I drew the one Cavern of Souls. That's okay. Yeah, stuff happens. My opponent has Bolt here, we die. True Name here, are probably also in a little bit of trouble. Alright, hopefully I draw another land here. If I draw another land here, I think my opponent is in a massive amount of trouble. I think I might be okay. Land. Land. Yeah. Still think I might be dead, but going up to 10 and then killing a Insectile Aberration is kind of nice. 6, 7, 8. Alright, so as long as my opponent doesn't draw a Bolt here, you know, I'm in an okay spot. I basically just have to dodge Bolt again. If I dodge Bolt again, then I think my opponent actually is dead here. Which is kind of funny. But we'll see. I mean, my opponent does have a Ponder. They've had this Ponder the entire time. They're pretty likely to find a Bolt here. Well, actually, a Bolt doesn't do it anymore. They need to have a Bolt plus a red source. And having a Plains and not Tundra here means the Source of Plowshares is live, which is kind of nice. And I'm going to get in for another 6 here, which is kind of nice. But I have to still play it careful. This game is really, really tight, and I'm still regretting my hand. I don't think my hand was very good here. But yeah, all right, my opponent found the land. They chose not to shuffle. Am I dead? They could attack with Grim Lavamancer accidentally. Alright. I'm at 4. Show me Bolt. My opponent did not have Bolt. Kind of weird. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to port this volcanic island. Well, actually, that's probably a bad idea. All right, I think I'm just going to go to combat first. I'm going to attack with a Stoneforge Mystic and a Batterskull with a Sword of Fire and Ice. So my opponent just have nothing here? Wow, my opponent has nothing. That is wild. Oh, alright. So my opponent just had nothing here. Now they're going to die. So, I guess that's fair. Opponent's going to activate Lavamancer. Oh, they're not going to activate Lavamancer. Okay. So there are a couple different options here. I don't exactly know what I lose to here, to be honest. So I'm just going to let this Brainstorm resolve. I guess I could lose to Price of Progress, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess I could lose to that. So the weird thing is like, if my opponent's brainstorming here, they're definitely looking for something. I don't think they have Price. So they're kind of looking for an Abrade here, I think, for the Sword of Fire and Ice. I think that's really what they're looking for, because they can beat pretty much everything else. If my opponent fetches here, I'm just going to respond by plowing this Lavamancer, so I can't go to 8. And I can't get blown out by a bunch of different stuff. Even I beat Double Days here, but I don't beat Force. My opponent's still dead to me attacking with this Germ token. So the question is, did my opponent find an Abrade or not for the Sword of Fire and Ice? Can't beat that. They're going to brainstorm again. So it looks like they're just looking for another Abrade here, or they're looking for some light up the stages to try and hit it. Wow, this is definitely a game where I won because I got extremely lucky. My opponent bricked pretty hard. Pretty hard. Alright, let's go ahead and just tap them out just a tiny bit in their upkeep. Oh, I guess I could also die to Bolt, Bolt, Bolt. My opponent found triple Bolt. Alright, that's one. Will my opponent be able to pull this out? Land here is not great. Alright, down to 5. 4th Volcanic. Draw spell, Preordain, okay. My opponent still needs to have a bolt in hand, and needs to find another bolt here off this Preordain. Well, this is very exciting. This is so tense. This is so tense. But I think this just kind of goes to show the power of like how good Batterskull and Sword of Fire and Ice is against all these Mopey Delver decks. The True Name's obviously great, but Batterskull is like the reason I'm able to play this game. I did not lose this game immediately. I really thought I was going to lose, especially with the Abrade, having Cavern of Souls and no white source. You know, a lot of things were going pretty bad. Pretty bad. And it looks like my opponent put 2 cards on the bottom here, so I think that's going to about wrap it up. We're about to find one way or another. Ooh, my opponent bricked. Wow, all right. And that was a really close, that was a really intense match. My opponent played reasonably well. I did not play so well. I have a lot of spots that I really need to work on. I talked about some of it a little bit. This deck's really tough, but I'm really liking it. And I feel like a lot of the draws are really powerful. I don't really think there's a lot of combo decks right now. And the only ones that are playing are like Storm and stuff. And we have a lot of good answers to this. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to wrap this game up. We're going to go ahead and jump on to the next game in just a little bit. But that was great. It was a lot of fun. All right, this is going to be an interesting one. We're playing against Storm Master himself, Caleb Scherer. So let's go ahead. Let's start this off. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, and we have a Lavinia. All right, so because we have a Lavinia, I think I'm going to keep this hand. So we're going to keep this hand. We have a turn 2 play that is relevant in this matchup as well. We have Port, we have Phyrexian Revoker. So we have some reasonably good cards, so I'm going to keep this hand, even on the play. Hopefully we don't get Thought Seized on turn 1. And if leading off on Flooded Strand means that our opponent is less likely to Thought Seize us, I think. I think our opponent is more likely to cast a Ponder or something. Yep, and then this Lavinia is going to go ahead and do all the work that we need. We just have to make sure I don't accidentally play Rishadan Port, because if I play Rishadan Port, I will not be able to cast anything here. Mother of Runes would have been nice on turn 1, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and get Tundra. Let's go ahead and get Tundra. Let's go ahead and play Lavinia. This is going to stop him from comboing us until turn 4, and it's going to prevent him completely from using Lotus Petals and LEDs. And then this is kind of nice. Next turn I can play Mother of Runes. Phyrexian Revoker I no longer need, but I can play Mother of Runes plus Port. Start attacking for 2, then start attacking for 3, and if I draw another land, I can Palace Jailer. Palace Jailer will also help me rip pretty deep into my deck as well. He has to find a bunch of rituals here. Again, because Lavinia is in play, he has to wait until, at least turn 4 to Tendrils me. So I have a little bit of time to find some good answers. Probably going to take Palace Jailer or Mother of Runes here. No, Phyrexian Revoker. Okay, maybe he has a main deck answer to Lavinia. Let's go ahead and place Mother of Runes. We can't die this turn, so I'm going to go ahead and put Stoneforge Mystic into play. I'm going to go ahead and get Sword of Fire and Ice. Because Sword of Fire and Ice is going to be the biggest way to win, the fastest way to win. If we draw another land here, we're in a great position. So I can Sword of Fire and Ice, equip to Lavinia, and start getting in for 6 a turn. And then that should kill my opponent over. Kill my opponent pretty fast. Kill my opponent in 2 turns. If we draw a land. If I don't draw a land, that's okay. But this is kind of nice. Lavinia has been kind of cool. I know, obviously, it might not end up doing anything here, but it is kind of cool that we had a turn 2 Hate Bear against Storm. But again, the plan here, especially in game 1, we got to try and, present a good mix of both pressure and disruption. And Lavinia kind of does both, and drawing Stoneforge Mystic is also kind of nice here. If our opponent, finds a Thoughtseize or a Therapy for a Fire and Ice, that's going to kind of be sad, but not really too much I can do about it. I don't think our opponent is going to have any main deck answers to creatures. I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually right now on my other screen. I'm actually bringing up Legacy Ad Nauseam Tendrils deck list. Just because I want to look at the main deck, make sure that no one is doing anything silly like, playing crazy things. I don't want to see any crazy things in the main deck, but it doesn't look like there is. Post-board, it looks like there's Chain of Vapors and Fatal Push and Decays and Echoing Truths, but all of that stuff feels pretty more beatable. Massacre is not so beatable. That one's going to be kind of tough to beat. That's one that we definitely have to be able to beat. Unfortunately, no land. So we're going to have to go ahead and just attack for 3 here. We'll go ahead and put Sword of Fire and Ice into play. We also still might die to just land, here's a million rituals, That's something that we just might die to still. I guess maybe it's just wrong not to attack with Stoneforge. Putting our opponent to 9 and just casting the Sword of Fire and Ice was probably a lot better. Sure. Maybe I also could have ported our opponent. Oh, Rite of Flame. Our opponent is playing TES. So Lavinia was even more impactful. Our opponent can't Ad Nauseam here. It's kind of nice. Spell 3, spell 4. What are we going to reveal? Rite of Flame. Okay, so we're getting emptied. Okay. Okay. This, Infernal Tutor. That's pretty good. Or unfortunately, I think dead here. I don't think porting would have done anything. I don't think attacking would have done anything. This is a little unfortunate, but that's okay. This is a really close game anyway. And Lavinia did definitely give us a ton of time, which I really like. And it also was kind of shut out our opponent from playing LED or Lotus Petal, so we probably gave ourselves a lot of time. Looks like our opponent can just go ahead and get another Infernal Tutor here. That's spell 8, and then go get Tendrils, and that's spell 9, and that'll kill us. I guess they have to maybe get Past in Flames here and do it all again. Yeah, it looks like our opponent should just get Past in Flames here. They'll run through everything again. They don't know we have... I don't know if they know we have a Swords of Plowshares. They might remember that we do, and if they do, then obviously this could protect us from exactly Storm 9, so our opponent would need to do Storm 10. So if I had to guess here, our opponent is going to go ahead, get Past in Flames, recast all their rituals, then cast Infernal Tutor, go get a Tendrils of Agony. Tendrils of Agony, yes, out of the game. If our opponent does anything else, I would be surprised. I would be floored. Okay, Burning Wish. Okay, I guess Burning Wish for Tendrils also does it as well. Burning Wish for Past in Flames also does it. There's a million ways that we die here. This is 8, 9. I'd be floored if it just went for Tendrils. So we just have to kind of sit here and wait. We have to give our opponent all the chances in the world to make all of their decisions. We don't want to make any of their decisions for them. especially with unique combo decks like Storm, where it's pretty easy to kind of just, whoops, I missed. All right, there we go. There's the Past in Flames. Now the Past in Flames is going to go ahead and get us dead. There we go. That was quite unfortunate. Chalice of the Void is going to be pretty good. Meddling Mage is going to be pretty good. Canonist is going to be pretty good. Surgical might be okay as well, but I'm not so sold on that one. But I'm definitely sold on these. Swords to Plowshares, awful. Jitte, awful. Deputy of Detention actually might be okay. Our opponent might try to empty us. So maybe that's okay. Maybe that's okay. Palace Jailer's pretty bad. I think I want to do this. Something like this. Actually, maybe Palace Jailer's better than one of these Surgicals. I don't know how good Surgical actually is. Rest in Peace also might be okay as well. Rest in Peace is probably better than Surgical. So I think we're just going to board in these 5, board out those 5. I could do the board out a Jailer, board in a Surgical, which might be okay here. And the reason that it might be okay to have Surgical Rest in Peace, so you have attack from a bunch of different angles, which is always going to be a lot better than just attacking for one. Prelate's obviously great as well. I think I might do that actually. I think I might just want to lower my curve. Palace Jailer kind of doesn't do anything for me. So I think we're going to do this. Go from there. We have a Remorseful Cleric too, is like another way to fight. I guess I could board out Mirran Crusader, but Mirran Crusader just gets our opponent dead. Does this hand do anything? Does this hand do anything? I don't think so. So I'm going to mulligan. This hand does. This hand I like a decent bit. We have 2 hate pieces and a Wasteland. As long as I don't die on turn 1, pretty good spot. Opponent is also mulliganing to 6, so that's kind of nice. Remorseful Cleric. Is this a card that I want? And I think the answer is no. We're definitely going to lead off on Karakas here. It's just the best thing for us to play off on. We'll want to just kind of leave in play. We don't want our opponent to know that we have a Wasteland. Maybe they don't fetch for a basic here. The decks don't play very many basics, but we also want to encourage our opponent to not put any into play. All right. So now I'm going to fetch for a Tundra, play this Thalia here, and then next turn I'll have Meddling Mage plus Wasteland. So a lot of different awesome cards going on here. And if we draw Lavinia, then that's going to be great too. Surgical Extraction, that's kind of good. Not ideal here. Does not play very well with Thalia, but that's okay. Still an okay card to have. Duress. Take my Surgical, that's fine. They're going to see Meddling Mage, Wasteland. Use the Aether Vial's ability. Alright, let's go ahead. Let's waste our opponent off a blue source. Let's go ahead and attack with this Thalia here. Have some pressure on our opponent. Karakas, obviously, the worst draw in the deck. Lands kind of not needed right now, but Karakas is pretty bad. It's the worst, one of the worst lands for sure. I'm not sure if I want this Meddling Mage in play or not. That's something that I'm not sure about just yet. I'm going to think about it a little bit. So if we put Meddling Mage into play, we could name Massacre, name Chain of Vapor. These are all cards that I don't mind naming. It doesn't seem great. I'm just going to wait. Just don't think I'm going to put this Aether Vial on anything but 2 for now. I do unfortunately not have a ton going on here, but now Mother of Runes can help protect my Thalia here, so now I just probably want to name Massacre with my Meddling Mage, but I'm going to wait until my Mother of Runes is more online before I do that. So I'm going to wait a turn on that. Alright, looks like there's not anything going on, so this Mother of Runes was going to get us somewhere. Alright, cool. So I think we're going to kind of do the same exact thing as we just did. I don't really think there's anything that I want to change. Containment Priest doesn't do anything. Relic-Warder does nothing. None of these cards really do anything here. So I think we're just going to go ahead and just resubmit the same one. Lots of really nice cards here. Lots of good things going on. Mother of Runes is great. Maybe our opponent left in like Decays and didn't have Massacre. Maybe that's why they conceded, is because without a way to kill Mother of Runes and Thalia, their life, and Meddling Mage, their life is going to be really difficult. This hand's pretty okay. We certainly need a white source here. Certainly need a white source, but as long as we draw one, we're going to be in a fantastic position here. Our opponent doesn't really have too much going on. We'll see if our opponent's going to kill us on turn 1. They kill us, they kill us. There's not really too much we can do. This is kind of similar to like mulliganing to Force of Will. Like, I would keep this kind of hand even in a perfectly fair deck too. You can't like just sit here and go, oh well, I have to mulligan to Force of Will, and you mulligan into a bad hand that lets your opponent sculpt forever. All of that kind of sucks. Our opponent did brainstorm a bunch, so I am going to waste them here because they brainstormed on turn 1 instead of pondered. I think if they did anything else, I would have just ported. Yeah, and our opponent just has nothing. Well, we'll find out. Yeah, they just have nothing. Alright, well, we drew every one of our vials. We drew 3 vials, so we're going to be able to do a lot of work. Our opponent has at least one draw step of nothing. Brainstorm here for another one. Let's see here. As long as I find a white source, I think I'll be in a good spot because I can play Rest in Peace. Rest in Peace is going to be exceptional here, I think. But we also just might die. This is the unfortunate part of drawing a bunch of vials. Obviously, vials great, but very medium as well. He's playing Lotus Petal here. There's a chance that we might be trying to combo off. Yeah, okay. If we die, we die. Not really too much I can do about that one. Our hand didn't play out in such a way that we could have done anything else. Alright, empty the Warrens for 12. Right, or for 14. Sure. Nice. All right. What do I need here to draw? Deputy of Detention? No, Deputy doesn't do it. If I had a Tundra in play, that would have, though. Unfortunate. So close, too. So close. Anyway, GG's to our opponent. I don't really think there's too much that we could have done differently. Empty was obviously great here. Maybe if I fetched for a Tundra instead, and I drew a land. But obviously drawing back-to-back vials was pretty atrocious. But GG's. We'll be back for round number 4 in just a minute. Hey everyone, back for another match. Looks like we're once again playing against Mr. Dandalux13. Probably playing Blue-Red Delver, but I think that's okay. This hand sucks. Mulligan. This hand, medium. Keep. Sanctum Prelate. Yeah, that card is pretty good, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that. Alright, let's see if our opponent has the Force of Will. Do you have the Forces of the Will? Will you force your will onto my vial? I also kind of like double Thalia here because it means I can play Thalia and my opponent will kill it, and then I can play my other Thalia. We'll get him real good. But I think this kind of hand is okay. I think double Thalia is like kind of medium, but it's kind of nice against these decks that have a bunch of removal. Being able to just kind of leverage the double copies. Unfortunately, we don't have any of the draw spells, but a lot of what this deck does, I think very well, is that your creatures are generally so efficient that you're okay drawing multiple copies of them. Just because they are so impactful so often. We know what we're drawing. See if our opponent has days. If they do, I don't really care too much because we have Mother of Runes and Thalia. And if our opponent doesn't have a days here, or Force of Will, wow. Force of Will was the best thing that could have happened. And now we get to go Mother of Runes into Thalia. If we draw a land, we get to play Sanctum Prelate 2 on 1. and lock our opponent out of Ponder and Bolt. Ooh, a Tropical Island. Tarmogoyf. So our opponent switched up to Rug the Delver. Oh no. Oh no. I have 6. Oh, I'm so dumb. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. Oh, this Mother of Runes should have been in play. Oh, if my opponent fork bolts me, I deserve every second of it. Every second of it. Oh, that was so bad. Oh. Alright, that was a little embarrassing. That was a little embarrassing. There's no one to blame but myself. Of course. Of course, but still. Kind of wish I did that a little better. I definitely should have played my Karakas first. Right. So now we'll go ahead and attack for 3. Since we have Karakas for Thalia, our opponent can no longer cast Brainstorm, Ponder, Bolt. And we're in a pretty good spot. You just kind of have to dodge, you know, Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf's pretty good here, for sure. Not nearly as bad. Our opponent is going to concede because they didn't draw anything. We were also not going to draw anything for a little while, but this Mirran Crusader would have devastated our opponent at some point in time. So we're going to go ahead and get into that sideboarding here. So our opponent is playing a deck that is much weaker to Rest in Peace and Path to Exile. So I'm going to go ahead and board those in this time. Palace Jailer's good. Council's Judgment is going to be good. These cards are a lot better than last time. This card's going to be still pretty good. Jitte, I don't know how I feel about that. I also don't like Remorseful Cleric very much. Vial's pretty bad here as well. Deputy of Detention, also not great. So I'm going to go ahead and board that out as well. And I like pretty much everything else. Prelate's also fine. Yeah, and Vial's just like a little worse here. Phyrexian Revoker's pretty bad too. I think I'm just going to board them all out. I'd rather have the 3rd Vial in on the draw, but I think this is just what I'm going to board in with and go from here. Chalice might be okay. Karn might be okay, but I'm not too sold on those. I'm just going to go ahead and board in like this. Opponent might have a Braid, might have Sulfur Elemental. I just don't really like, you know, too many bad cards, but this one's kind of nice. This one's kind of a nice setup here. This hand is a little sketchy on the draw. You know, obviously we can get days wasted out, but if we draw Plains, we're going to be in a fantastic position. Nimble Mongoose. I'm going to waste my opponent. I like wasting my opponent on turn 1. Especially when they're on the play. Playing 18 lands. You know. Sure, it might get them closer to Nimble Mongoose, getting Threshold, but I think that's okay. We just gotta not get Wastelanded ourselves, basically, here. Don't get stifled either. Oh, Mother of Runes is kind of nice. Kind of nice. If we get dazed here, that's fine. If this gets bolted, that's fine. I just don't want to get wasted. That's the only thing that I don't want to happen. Is I don't want to get wasted. Alright, no Wasteland. That's pretty nice. I will block. Block. I will block. I don't think our opponent expected us to block, but I'm going to block. You know, we're just going to go ahead and eat that Nimble Mongoose right out of the way. Maybe our opponent is going to play some card here that gets sourced to Plowshared. Tarmogoyf, you got it. That gets plowed. Alright, let's go ahead. Let's plow this. And again, hoping we draw Plains pretty badly. Kind of wish I drew a fetch land there so I could have fetched for Plains and then also played Mother of Runes, but that's okay. Alright. Is it a true name Nemesis? I think it is. I think it is. Alright, let's draw that Plains. Okay, well, we didn't draw Plains. It's kind of unfortunate. Now we need to draw multiple lands to be able to beat this true name Nemesis. Alright. We do still have 20 lands left in our deck. So we do have a pretty good opportunity to draw quite a few of them. Alright, and this is awesome because I get to attack for 2, I get to play Mother of Runes, I get to port this Volcanic Island. Opponent's going to brainstorm here. Alright, I'll take it. Now we just need to draw another land here to be able to the Council's Judgment this True Name away, and then we're going to be in a great spot. Life total is under a bit of pressure. It's also possible that I should have Flickerwisped. Go ahead and tap out this Volcanic Island, force our opponent to find something here. Alright. Brainstorm again. I'll take it. Alright. Opponent didn't really have anything here. Ooh, fetch land here means they now hit threshold. They can certainly spell pierce away lots of things. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead, attack for 2, play Flickerwisp, Flickerwisp out, my planes I think. I guess that doesn't really matter, I'm just going to Flickerwisp one of their lands. Was this a Daze? Force of Will. Okay, that's fine. As long as my opponent doesn't have a second Force of Will and I draw a land, they are in a lot of trouble. So, this is an okay spot to be in. Our opponent has not a lot going on right now with the exception of this True Name Nemesis. That's the only thing that I'm worried about. It is a pretty fast clock here. You know, obviously if I brick again, I'll play a Flickerwisp. Brainstorm. Okay. If our opponent could go brainstorm here and just tap out and I draw another land for this Council's Judgment, that would be a-okay with me. But obviously we can't, you know, play around our opponent, you know, doing that kind of thing. Flickerwisp here is going to be pretty good as well. You know, even if we don't have anything else. These double Swords of Plowshares looking pretty bad. Looking pretty bad. Would have loved to have a Remorseful Cleric here, or Jitte, or Vial, or Revoker, or Karn. Literally anything. Okay, let's draw a land. That is not a land. Sure, it doesn't really matter too much. We're certainly in a little bit of trouble, that's for sure. We desperately need to draw a land. We have another turn or two, I think, I would guess, before I have to draw a land. Opponent can't Force of Will us. They can Daze. That's really bad. I'm going to attack with my Thalia. Let's see if my opponent will block. Oh, okay. I was not expecting that. Your opponent is like a Daze or something here. I don't know. I was kind of surprised that my opponent blocked. So I'm going to go ahead and vote for this True Name here. Alright, and now we have Flickerwisp Mother of Runes versus Nimble Mongoose. Is it Staticaster? Sure. Oh, I was pretty surprised at all of that. But that's okay. We're in an okay spot here. Our opponent has to make a choice now if they want to Staticaster this to attack for 3 or Staticaster my Mother of Runes. And if I draw a land, I'll have the opportunity to plow plus Council's Judgment. Opponent's flooded out a little bit. Hopefully they don't draw Bolt or a Daze here. The opponent wants to Staticaster this, they have to pass a turn, and then I could plow this. If they static caster this, then I have Mother of Runes versus this, which is pretty good. If they drew Bolt here, that's pretty bad for me. That means I get to do everything. Alright. Now let's hope my opponent doesn't have days. If my opponent waits on the static caster, that's pretty bad for them. Pretty good for me. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, let's hope my opponent did not draw a daze. Or a Spell Pierce. Okay, Nimble Mongoose gone. Alright, now we have to dodge another True Name here, because I don't have any more Council Judgments. Alright, Delver's Secret's pretty beatable. Let's plow this. Yeah, I have to plow that. I can't play Thalia here into Staticaster. Alright, now hopefully I draw another land. That would be amazing. So I could Palace Jailer my opponent. Nice. Hopefully my opponent did not draw Force of Will or Daze. Alright, I am the Monarch. Now I can start drawing some cards. Ooh, land is not terrible since it lets me double spell next turn. Also can let me start porting out these tropical islands. And my opponent does not have any other green sources in their deck. So they only have red sources, so they're pretty much locked out at this point. Of if I am able to keep up port every turn. Well, that makes life even easier. Let's go ahead and shut them out of all the green sources. So Bolt for my, or Tarfire. Okay, well, I guess that's fair. I'm going to go ahead and play Thalia now. And then in their upkeep, I'll port them off their tropical island. Because the only thing I'm really caring about at this moment is going to be Nimble Mongoose, and Tarmogoyfs. True Name's annoying, but we'll eventually start getting over that. Now I'm going to get a point where I can start tapping 2 lands, and our opponent won't be able to catch True Name anymore. I think we're in a pretty good spot. And this is why Death and Taxes always had like a pretty good Delver matchup. You know, you just have like a lot of really impactful creatures. You have a lot of really good spells. Wasteland here is pretty bad. For me, my Tundra is gone. My Tundra's gone. Okay, well that was surprising. That was not what I expected. Rest in Peace here. Rest in Peace here is actually pretty good. Rest in Peace here is actually really good. I'm going to wait till the next turn to cast it. Because it now shuts off Nimble Mongoose and Tarmogoyf from being reasonable threats. And so the only thing I lose to here is True Name. So I just don't want to lose to True Name. So I think I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to keep playing lands. I think I'm just going to do that. I think my plan here is just keep playing lands, port my opponent out, attack them for 2 every turn. We don't really need to do anything else here. We don't need to go crazy. We don't need to make any sudden movements. Aether Vial is kind of nice in a couple turns. I'll just start playing that next turn, or just start burying our opponent with this Monarch. Yeah, there's just no reason for us to make any movements here, and our opponent is just going to fall to pieces. Our opponent is kind of locked out at this point. Can't really cast True Name. Delver's the only thing they can cast. They can bolt this, I guess, but it's going to take them a little while to get back into this game, and I think in the meantime, we're just going to close the door. Wasteland, my Tundra again, please. Don't True Name me. Oh, okay. Well, that was kind of nice. Our opponent not wasting us and instead pondering. I thought our opponent was going to waste us since they could still ponder anyway, but they did not. That's okay. We're just going to port here as much as possible. Kind of unfortunate to draw Flooded Strand here, actually, because I do not want to die to Bolt. Opponent does have Bolt in their deck still. So if we fetch, we might just die to Bolt. Ooh, well that was a nice one. Alright, so now that I've drawn a Wasteland, this is awesome. Because now I can, that Mysterious Force doesn't get anything. Brainstorm, okay. That's fine with me. Now I get to waste this Tropical Island, double port Volcanic all day. And I think that's just going to do it for us for this game. Eventually I'll draw enough lands that I'll be able to play an Aether Vial or Rest in Peace, but for now I just want to play safe as possible. There's no real reason to do anything tricky, no real reason to do anything crazy. I don't know why Lavinia is still in my deck. I have a small brain that should have been boarded out. Our opponent has no ability to cast any green spells, unless they have a Taiga in their deck, which I guess is theoretically possible. I think 7 lands is starting to become a little more common for Delver. Our opponent also might have Basic Island too. It's like not totally unreasonable. We've drawn 3 Wastelands, which is kind of good, but we've also seen, 30 cards and been drawing an extra card every turn. If you draw 2 cards a turn, pretty likely to find everything you need. Alright, show me another land, because I don't believe you, Dan Deluxe. That's what I thought. Alright. Put a stop in your draw step then. This is something that is a common line of play from people. Bolt me. Yeah, it's pretty reasonable. My opponent finds 2 bolts. I obviously die. Oh, and I have a... I'll be right back. Someone's at the door. My new bed is here, so that's kind of nice. I have to be right back in just a moment, but for now, it looks like our opponent's not really doing too much, so hopefully we'll be able to finish this game in just a moment. Turn 18. Alright, our opponent has a fetch land. It's not going to do anything for them. I draw a Wasteland here. That is the best possible draw. I did not. Let's go ahead, play Lavinia. Go ahead, attack for 2. And then I have to go sign for this bed. Kind of an awkward time to do that. Or I gotta do what we gotta do. Stoneforge Mystic, that would have been killer a few turns ago. Alright, show me another bolt. Alright, now we'll see what our opponent does. We'll wait in silence in a moment. And we did it! We died! We died to Bolt. Our opponent found it. Unlucky. Alright, let's go to game 3. Lavinia should not be in my deck. That card should not be in my deck. At all. Not even a little bit. I want this shit back in. Alright, let's try this one more time. That was unfortunate. I came back to dying. Yeah, this hand seems fine. We don't really have a lot of answers to our opponent's creatures, but we have Wasteland, we have Stoneforge Mystic. Lots of good things going on. But I am going to fetch here because I want to play around Stifle. Maybe I'm just supposed to mulligan if I don't have a turn 1 play, but Stoneforge is really good, and so is Wasteland. And if we get to leverage Stoneforge into Wasteland, oh, it's our opponent in a lot of trouble. Yeah, I'm just going to waste our opponent here. Oh, they had Stifle. That's unfortunate. I guess I should have played around Stifle. I definitely forgot about Stifle, even though we've been talking about it a whole bunch. But I definitely could have afforded to play around it. Now we got to start jamming threats. Alright, our opponent is going to brainstorm to look for an answer. So if you're going to brainstorm to look for an answer, you should do it with the card on the stack at least. Maybe you'll find a daze. Yes, select use Stoneforge's ability. I'm going to get the Jitte here. I'm going to get the Jitte because I'm pretty sure my Stoneforge is going to die. If it doesn't get countered, I'd rather have the card I could cast. Ah, Wasteland. That was pretty good. We do have another land here. We do have a lot of lands in the deck and a lot of time. Alright. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this Jitte into play. And now, obviously, we're already not having a Batterskull, of course, since our opponent bricked on finding a removal spell. But Jitte's still going to be pretty solid. That's for sure. True Name here would also be pretty devastating for me. I only have this Council's Judgment. It's pretty likely on 7 cards that they have. Our opponent is going to have a Daze or a Force of Will for it. Another Wasteland. Alright, so if our opponent here also has a Stifle for my Flooded Strand, then we are definitely in trouble. Sure. So everyone has an extraordinarily reactive hand, which is going to be pretty good for us because we're eventually going to draw a bunch of lands and stuff to do, and our opponent has very few threats. So we're just going to have to go ahead, take this slow, take our time. We do have another land here. I'm going to need to draw more lands. I hope our opponent doesn't have a third Stifle. Can't really do anything else with our turn here, so pretty easy to kind of just keep playing lands and do stuff. Our opponent's looking for a bolt here. I think our opponent should have just looked for the bolt on their turn if they're trying to do this. So really our hand is kind of scripted, in a certain way. We don't really have too many options, so just kind of do what we're doing, see what works, see what doesn't, see what we can get away with here, see what our opponent's bricking on. Our opponent has a third Stifle. All right. Opponent had a lot of Stifles there. Good news is it's pretty unlikely that they have the fourth Stifle, so I'm going to go ahead and get a third Plains here. So I'm going to be Wasteland proof in addition to everything else. We have Flickerwisp and Palace Jailer coming down the road, Council's Judgment for a True Name Nemesis, Swords of Plowshares for a Delver or Tarmogoyf. So we're in an okay spot at the moment. Definitely in an okay spot. Our opponent now is at a point where they really don't have anything going on. They need to kind of spin their wheels to find some good answers. So we're in a pretty alright spot at the moment here. Our creatures are going to hit the board pretty nicely, but basically what I'm just looking for is to kind of suit up and start getting in with the Stoneforge Mystic as much as possible. I was really hoping our opponent would tap a Volcanic here and then go, Tarmogoyf go. And then we could plow, equip, get in. Looks like that's not going to happen for us. Quite unfortunate. There's a Bolt, or Tarfire, excuse me. There's Delver. Alright. Well, Rest in Peace is not the best draw here. That's okay. I don't think we have any blue cards in our deck, so I'm just going to go ahead and get this. Let's go ahead and play this Flickerwisp. See if we get bodied. Our opponent has a Daze here. That would be kind of unfortunate. If they do not have a Daze here, though, the Swords of Plowshares is going to make some moves. Our opponent does only have 3 cards left. Alright, looks like our opponent did not have an answer. So. Alright, looks like our opponent doesn't really have anything going on here, so we're just going to try to get busy. See if we can get something on. Is this going to be in a Braid? A Staticaster? Well, that's unfortunate. Staticasters start popping up a lot. It's a really unfortunate card against a lot of my X1s. If we draw a land here, though, this Palace Jailer is going to be nice. Alright. Land. Nice. Not only do we get to eat this as a Staticaster, we also get to start drawing cards, and that's going to get us real deep. So here we're just hoping to dodge a Daze, or, I mean, I'm okay. If my opponent goes Force Blue card here, I'm pretty okay, because that means they aren't really going to have 2 cards. Daze is the bad one. Daze is the one that's going to be pretty devastating for us, especially because they have so many lands in play already. They're going to get to fetch. Force Will here is pretty okay, especially pitching True Name. Oh boy. That was the best thing that could have happened. Because Palace Jailer drawing me a card was nowhere near as devastating as the True Name would have been. So I'm pretty thankful for that. Unless they have another True Name. They do. Alright, well they're going to have a Spell Pierce here. If they don't. If they don't, they're in a lot of trouble. That's for sure. Alright, Path to Exile here is kind of nice. I'm going to hold on to that for a minute. Maybe our opponent plays a Delver or something. And then I get to Palace Jailer again. Palace Jailer is great. Alright, show me another Force of Will. If one has another Force of Will, I'd be sad. Let's go ahead and get rid of the Staticaster. I become the Monarch. Alright, it has 1 damage on it. You have another Staticaster? Do we have 2 Staticasters? Alright. This time, I don't think my opponent is going to be able to bolt this out so easily. Alright, let's go ahead and start getting busy with this Jitte-filled Jailer. I think at this point it's going to be pretty hard for my opponent to come back at all. Force of Will, pitching Spell Snare, that's fine with me. Go ahead and start getting this Jitte. Is there a Bolt? Is that the last card? It's a pretty good one. Pretty good one, but I have Mirran Crusader. Whoa, Mirran Crusader plus Umezawa's Jitte is kind of good. Kind of good. Just a little bit. Delver. That one's not bad, but guess what it's not as good as? Not as good as this. I think at this point, I think this game is all but over. Yes. Get that Fire and Ice in there. Alright, show me another bolt. Okay. Opponent did have another bolt. Rats. But I don't think it really matters too much. Here's a Thalia. Oh, yeah. Alright, let's put this Jitte on Stoneforge. Let's start getting busy. Another bolt? And a braid? What is this? Ancient Grudge. Oh, Ancient Grudge is pretty good. Alright. That means that I need to tap my opponent out of Tropical Islands before I put the Sword of Fire and Ice into play. Can I do that? I cannot. Ooh. Oh, wait. Yes, I can. I have this Rest in Peace. I forgot about that. You can tell that my brain works properly all of the time. Yes, this game is very over for our opponent. They tried their hardest to stick on as much as they possibly could. It was not going to be good enough. It was not meant to be. And now I'm going to put this Sword of Fire and Ice into play, and that's going to be the end of it for my opponent. Alright, let's get in for a 9 here. I guess I could have just played Sword of Fire and Ice, but, you know. Oh, my opponent drew another grudge. Ah. That's okay. It really doesn't matter at this point what we do, because our opponent can't win. So I am kind of, maybe playing a little bit loose. Just a little bit. But we did end up winning. So that was kind of nice. It's unfortunate that we beat the same person twice in the same league, but it's okay. But right now we're 3-1. I'll be coming back for round number 5 in just a minute. Hello, everyone, and welcome to batch number 5 of our Legacy League, playing some Azorius taxes. We win the die roll. We're great. We're owning. Let's keep this hand. I'm not sure how good it is, but it gives us a lot of opportunities to do stuff. This is the one downside to playing Death and Taxes. You never know how good your hand is. It may be terrible. Okay. Well, I like Island. It could be good. Alright, Thalia resolves. I kind of like that too. Plains. Plow. Alright, so our opponent is playing Miracles, it looks like. Alright, that was the worst possible draw for 2 turns in a row. Let's go ahead and name Jace here. So our opponent's playing Miracles. Alright, so this hand is actually very bad. So our opponent is playing Miracles. Portent. Now, so they're on a very old version of Miracles. Portent is basically not played at all anymore. Alright. Alright, also a very bad draw. Alright, hopefully we draw no more lands for the rest of the game. I think we're kind of all locked up, although I wouldn't hate, I guess, a Wasteland. I wouldn't have hated a Wasteland that turn. I also wouldn't have hated a, wouldn't hate a Wasteland, wouldn't hate a Port. Drawing the fetch land was pretty bad. I think we're pretty dead here. Yeah, I think this is pretty bad for me. Just gonna keep playing threats until until our opponent kills us. Shows us how they're going to kill us. I think this is important. Even though this game's over, I'm going to wait as long as possible to concede because I want to know exactly how my opponent is trying to kill us. That will make my life easier in knowing how to sideboard and help us get in a much better spot. Alright, if our opponent is blowing their Terminus pretty early on, Phyrexian Revoker and Flickerwisp, that's going to be an even easier spot for us to, kind of win from as well. So if we just, continually draw creatures after this, our opponent only has maybe one more Terminus left in their deck. Jace here is pretty good, of course. We're probably not going to be able to beat Jace, that's for sure. But it is very possible that we can. Basically, as long as we can dodge a Force of Will here, we're in a pretty good spot. Alright. Is this another Jace? Council Judgment. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. I'm probably going to lose to this Jace now. I'm going to play this Palace Jailer. If our opponent has a counterspell, then I'm going to concede. So I'm just not going to beat Jace, and if our opponent has any semblance of a brain, they will not do anything. Except kill us with Jace. Okay, we are the Monarch. Alright, our opponent is blowing through all their brainstorms, all their portents, so this Palace Jailer actually just might help us take over this game, too. Alright, so our opponent has AK as well. Alright. So our opponent is trying to draw as many cards as possible, trying to find a win condition. Not sure what their win condition is, but I guess we'll find out together. Monastery Mentor. Okay. Show me a Force of Will. Sure. Spell Pierce is a good one. I was not expecting that. No, I will not pay for Spell Pierce. Let's get a Sword of Fire and Ice. Let's get a Recruiter of the Garden here. Just going to keep playing as safe as humanly possible. Let's go ahead and get ourselves... Flickerwisp. No real reason to attack our Palace Jailer into any potential AKs or plows. Unfortunate. Alright, well that's pretty bad for me. We're probably dead now. Alright, well, now we know how our opponent's trying to kill us. We definitely want this Karn. Definitely want this Jailer. Definitely want these Judgments. Don't think we want anything else. I think that's probably going to be good enough. Chalice might be okay as well, actually. Chalice on 1 would be pretty devastating in some spots. Source of Plowshares is kind of bad. It's kind of bad. Deputies, not great. Remorseful Cleric's also not great. I think I'd rather have Deputy than Remorseful Cleric, though, just because of all the Monastery Mentor tokens. It's unfortunate that Recruiter can't get Deputy, but I think this is mostly going to be fine as a setup. Lavinia shuts off Force of Will and Terminus until 6 lands, so it's kind of nice to have. Kind of nice to have. Again, we want some small number of plows, I believe, just so we can be able to kill some Monastery Mentors. We'll try one more time. This matchup feels a lot closer than it has in the past. This hand is pretty bad, I think. Actually, maybe it's good. I think that I just got scared from the double Karakas, but Mother of Runes and a Stoneforge Mystic is pretty good. Go ahead and get that Sword of Fire and Ice going. And that's a pretty okay spot to be in. Alright, we drew one of our plows, which this is the worst possible time to draw a plow. We never want to draw a plow early. We only want to draw it mid to late game. Alright, hopefully I draw plains here. Mirran Crusader. Well, that's pretty bad. Can't really do anything here, so we just kind of got to pass. Having double Karakas obviously has its own downsides. But Mother of Runes and the Stoneforge Mystic can be pretty good against a lot of stuff. Back to basics. Yeah, sure. Can't really do too much about that. Guess we'll just go ahead and put the Sword of Fire and Ice into play. We're back to basics, me. It's like pretty medium for the most part, but it's obviously going to be great here. And as soon as I draw another land, if I drew another land here instead of one of these 3 drops, I think my opponent would actually just be stone dead to my Sword of Fire and Ice here. Mission Briefing, okay. So our opponent's playing the Mission Briefing Honorog version, which means you don't have to worry about Snapcaster, which means this Palace Jailer is going to be pretty nuts. But hopefully I draw basic plains here. That'd be nice. Basic plains, basic plains, basic plains. And back to basics, obviously a little better against the Tundra version, but not really too much I can do. But as soon as I draw plains, actually any land here is probably going to be pretty good. Nope. Alright, I guess instead I might just die, because I can't draw a land at all. Which is kind of unfortunate here. I think if I did draw a land that wasn't Karakas earlier, I think my opponent would actually just be stone dead here. Just actually colded, even through this back to basics. I would have gotten in for 5-10 damage already. Yeah, that would have been pretty devastating. Yeah, so now I'm probably just going to lose here. That's unfortunate. Pretty close game. I think I would keep this hand pretty much any time. I think this hand was pretty good. You know, obviously the exception of the double Karakas and to not drawing a land for quite a few turns is pretty bad, but well, there's only so much you can do. Now my opponent is going to Terminus me. That's quite unfortunate. I have nothing to follow up with. I need to draw multiple lands here in a row to be able to cast anything. Yep. Alright, well that's unfortunate, but we are dead. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the deck list. Unfortunately, we ended up with a 3-2, but there were some things that we learned. Death and Tax is still pretty good. We had a very close game. Lavinia gave us a ton of time against Storm, which was awesome. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get there in the end. Multiple Goblin tokens is going to kind of get us. I have to rethink that whole line, whether or not I want to Wasteland on turn 1. I'm pretty sure it didn't have anything, but at the same time, maybe it was right just to kind of start progressing my board as well at the same time, since I could have played Vial, then Mother, then Wasted, and that would have been a pretty good spot to be in, but who knows? I'm not really 100% sure. Sideboard was kind of nice. We didn't really play against anything that Containment Priest would have been good against, but it's still a card that I like to have in my sideboard anyway. We didn't get to maybe we should have used Meddling Mage against Miracles, but I think that was just kind of an unfortunate, spot. I really did like how that deck played out, and I really liked how my matchups went out. Just didn't end up working out really right, but that's all right, and we'll be able to get them at least next time. That was quite unfortunate, but we have plenty of time. Plenty of time to figure stuff out before Legacy comes up. But this is Rudy Briksza with Cool Stuff Inc. Thanks for watching.